Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to another episode. Today is another Throwback Thursday interview, and we are catching up with Allie from Charming Garlands. And the last time we spoke, she was still operating out of her basement with very little support or help in terms of employees. And since then, she has moved into a warehouse. She has increased her fleet of vehicles. Unfortunately, she doesn't have as much help as she would like, and we are going to talk about that, some of the difficulties that come along with growth. So Allie is very open and honest in this conversation about some of the struggles in hiring and finding the right people to support a growing business. And I'm very grateful that she came on and had that honest conversation with us. These Throwback Thursday episodes are thanks to Premium Conwin, who sends all of our returning guests an inflator as a thank you for their time and a congratulations on all of their success in business. So thank you again to Allie. It was great catching up with you. And let's take a quick break to head over to the U-Glue hotline and then get into this interview with Allie from Charming Garlands. Welcome to the U-Glue hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks. Brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hi, my name is Rachel Mel. I'm in Michigan, and I am with Beyond Balloon Co., or I own Beyond Balloon Co. And my question is, I'm really glad you posted this because I'm having issues with hanging installs outside. And I haven't tried Ooglue yet, and I've been wanting to. So I do need to get it. But is that your preferred go-to for hanging anything outside? Like, I did a bunch of installs at a bunch of storefronts, and I was nervous with the tape that I was using on some of like their wood or their windows. So it doesn't leave anything or peel the paint. So does Ooglue leave any residue? Does it peel paint? Is that like your kind of go-to preferred way for hanging anything outside, because you can't really use command hooks on brick and things like that? So I guess, what's your best preferred method, and is Ooglue the trick for everything? Thank you. Bye.
Hey, Rachel, thanks for calling in. Okay, so actually, no, I don't use adhesives on client surfaces. So I use U-Glue like within balloons. So I use it to stick balloons to balloons. Anytime I am hanging to a wall or an outdoor window or on brick, I am usually avoiding adhesive at all costs. I don't want to cause damage. I don't want to bet that it's going to stick and then it doesn't. Like, I just like to eliminate all the risk factors in that situation. So I would recommend that you practice rigging. Like, I think that you cannot go wrong with tying, attaching things to attachment points. So anytime I'm doing an install outside, I am making sure that I have some rigging points. And I think the more that you do this, the better you get at finding them. So some of the strategies and kind of tools I have in my kit, first, fishing line. I love to hang to, lamps outside of a house. Sometimes you can find little holes in gutters, little gaps in siding, and you can thread through a piece of fishing line. The other thing that I like to have is suction cups. So those are great for windows. You can buy high strength suction cups on Amazon, and they do the trick. That way you're not actually attaching anything. You can kind of just clear the glass surface and attach a suction cup, and then that gives you a rigging point. And then the last thing is ceiling clips. So these look like almost like little twisted jumbo paper clips. And these work great on like drop ceilings, but I also find them really useful when clipping to weird things on houses. Like I said, gutters sometimes have little clips. You get kind of creative. The more you actually look for opportunities. I've actually used them on like shutters on the outside of homes. In general, I always want to actually rig my balloons to something by tying, because I know that's not going to fail. It's not going to blow away. What happens if you stick and then that one balloon that's stuck pops, right? And then your whole garland or your whole install flies away. And then the other option is to do things freestanding. Bring bases, bend some custom like framework so that it looks like a garland going up and around a door, but really it's a big giant column that's standing on its own. So no, I don't actually recommend adhesive for sticking to any surfaces, indoor or outdoor. I don't like risking. I don't want to pull paint. I don't want to mess something up. I don't want to be responsible for that. So 99% of the time I am looking for rigging points, and that seems to work for me. Most of the time you can find a solution. Thanks for calling in. Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, U-Glue, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on U-Glue when you buy directly from Having a Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. All right, welcome back for this Throwback Thursday episode with Allie from Charming Garlands. Allie, the last time we talked, you were working out of your basement. I don't think you had any employees, and you certainly didn't have your box truck. I don't even know if you had a van yet. Your business was in a different state. So catch us up. What is the scale and the situation of your business right now?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, I'm so happy to be back. Love catching up with you and being a part of my favorite podcast. But yeah, so much has changed for Charming Garlands since our first interview. And yeah, most of the things that you mentioned, the box truck definitely was a huge investment, but has changed the entire outlook of our day-to-day operations. Just not having to go to U-Haul all the time is like, the best. And the warehouse, that has been a huge, huge, huge game changer. It was very clear pretty early on and fast that we were going to outgrow my little home operation. So, it took a lot of time to find the right space and the type of space that made sense. But once we found this warehouse, and it is a warehouse, we don't have any retail storefront, which is not something I ever wanted. But once we found this space, I jumped on it, and it has, again, like the truck, like it was another milestone in the growth of Charming Garlands and has just changed everything. It's changed the environment that we work in day to day. It's completely changed our productivity, just having the space to do what we need to do. It's allowed us to put new systems in place, again, that has just drastically changed our efficiency. So, everything has a place, and we have an inventory wall, and it's better, again, for my team to come to a workplace and not my home. I think it feels better for them. They have a place that is called work. And all around, that was just, I think, the best change over the past year. We'll have been in the warehouse. It'll be a year this December. So we're going to celebrate 1 year here.
Oh, congratulations. And tell us about your team, because that's a big change too. I can't remember. I think you were alone and maybe had like an assistant or someone came and like helped you inflate possibly. But now what is your team situation?
Yeah. So, early on, that was kind of the piece of the process that I delegated, was just having someone inflate, because that's, mindless work that was taking up a ton of my time and pulling me away from being able to actually grow the business. I was working in the business, not on the business. So it was very clear that I had to hire help. But that being said, I will say the hardest part to this day is finding good help.
Yeah, you've been pretty open.
Struggle.
Yeah, you've been pretty open about that. I think we're in a couple of Facebook groups together, and just, in our group chat, when you grow, you have to find people to grow with you. And that right now is a really hard time to do that. What are some of those areas you're finding particularly hard? And what are areas where you're covered, where you have good help?
Ooh, this is like a really touchy subject for me, because it's a constant state of unrest in my business, to be honest with you. And there have been times over the past 2 years where I felt fully staffed and like ready to conquer the world. And all of the ideas I had on how to expand and how to grow and how to earn more revenue, like the balls were rolling, and then boom, it would be like every single time I felt that way, we'd hit a wall or someone would move on or, there'd be a shift in the fabric of our team for whatever reason. There's so many reasons. And then it was like lost a link in our chain. And that's hard to come back from, especially in the event industry where, we're booked out months in advance. We have these events on the calendar, right? So we already know how busy we're going to be in a couple months from now. And then when we lose someone, you don't have a chance to recover. Like those events are still on the calendar.
Right. You're not going to like
those events.
Push your meeting back a week. It's like, nope, this event is now and we need people. Yeah.
And I can't call the client and be like, oh, well, I don't have the staff to service, the scale of your event anymore. Sorry. Like I would never do that. So it's hard, in the event industry. I've made a commitment to my clients and I've made a commitment to growing this business and to not have the team, like you said, to grow along with me and to constantly have that team changing.
Yeah.
I mean, change is strange. And it's been a constant state of just like feeling like we don't have, at least for me, I don't have my bearings. The business does not have its bearings. And so it's something I continue to struggle with. I constantly look to other people in the industry for advice on how to hire, what are best interview practices, what are some of the most important things that you look for in an employee? I know I have my own answers, but what I've been doing doesn't seem to be working. So leaning on other people that have been doing this for, 10, 20, 30, 40 years has been helpful. But I also think it's just a state of the workforce and the work environment as a whole. It's not just the balloon business. It's finding people in general that want to work.
I'm curious, like when people are leaving, is it because they didn't know how hard it was going to be or like they don't like weekend hours? I mean, probably all the same stuff that we don't like about our jobs, but I'm just curious if they're giving you indicators.
It's been a combination and there hasn't been one consistent reason across the board. Some people have decided to pursue a career path. Some people flat out got burnt out because, like I said, like we haven't been fully staffed in a while. So the pressure falls on the people that are here. And that's an unfortunate domino effect that like we can't break ourselves out of because despite my best efforts to hire and put, aces in places, I have not been able to do that. So yeah, I mean, there's been burnout. There's been, people don't want to work all weekend long. And I've made shifts in my demands for my team because I understand that. I understand that asking someone to work every weekend is a big ask. So, I've even shifted, what I require in terms of availability. And it's been a lot of, I call it the Instagram trickle down effect, because, people see the fun and the colors and the energy on Instagram. And so they think that when they apply, it's just always, rainbows and butterflies and pretty balloons.
Yeah.
Like you and I both know, and probably everyone listening to this podcast, that that's not the reality. So yes, I've had people that have come on board and they very quickly realize, oh crap, like this is a lot of work and not really what I bargained for. And they leave pretty quickly. And that's unfortunate to me. I mean, I'd rather them leave fast because at least at that point, I haven't invested a ton of time and resources in developing them. But it's frustrating because I'm very honest and very candid during my interview process. So to not have them actually listen to me, like it's hard work. It's stressful.
They like think you're joking or
like I'm not joking. I'm being real with you. And I really don't want you to even try unless you're willing to go through it. Now, that being said, I also tell them like it's super hard work, but the reward is great experiences, making memories. We get to go do some really cool things, really cool events for really cool people.
Yeah, you do a really good plan.
But I mean, it comes at a cost because we work our butts off. So, I mean, it's a struggle and it's something I'm still struggling with.
Yeah. Well,
so we're not fully staffed right now at all.
Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Having a Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. At Having a Party Wholesale, they're not just a distributor, they're your partner in success. With the latest and greatest in balloon innovations, they're on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients. From top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, Premium Conwin, and more, they've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Elevate your balloon business with premium quality balloons and accessories that'll make every event unforgettable. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at haveinaparty.com. One of the things that you do a lot, which I think is a really helpful tip, is you utilize other balloon people. And I'm sure that that's not like you wish you had staff, but when you don't, like you work with Meg from 365 a lot. Like she comes out and helps you. You know, I've seen Tiffany on your jobs. We've seen a lot of people in the area. And I think that's a good kind of hack. Like if you maybe have a business that's not on the scale of Allie's and you don't need regular help, but you need occasional help, and you don't want to hire your mom, I think it's okay to hire other balloon people. Like I just hired another balloon artist to take an entire job off my plate because I'm going to be out of town. And normally I would have my inflator do it, or I would have a friend, but it's helium and it's far and it's like a whole thing. So I'm like, you know what? I'd rather just give this entire job to someone who's going to do it well and make me look good instead of trying to train and figure that out in a pinch. So I like that tip that you do. I think hiring other balloon people and kind of utilizing your network is a good idea, a good plan.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with a caveat, right? Like, I 100% think that everyone should be leaning on their balloon friends and their local balloon community to help each other. And that could be simple help, you know, in terms of like, I need a color, who has it? Or it could be big help. Like, I've got a big job and it's like a 6-person job and I'm only one person. So like, you have no other choice, you know? I don't think it's realistic unless you're doing jobs on a really big scale to like start flying in people. And it's also not, you know, the most profitable decision. But luckily, I've had some projects that have forced me to do that because I just simply don't have the means. And I also am a big believer that, you know, when I get a good job, a really big job, I want to tackle that with the best people possible. You know what I mean? Like if that client is asking for something that I'm uncomfortable with, I'm going to bring in the expert that's going to rock that area out.
Right.
And I'll pay whatever it is to make sure that that's done in the best way. And it relieves my stress. And I go into these big jobs being like, I've got the aces, you know, we're going to kick some butt and this is going to be fun. And I get to work with my friends. And I'm so thankful for the ones that have been willing on a regular basis to leave their business to help mine. Like it really means from the bottom of my heart, everything, because my hiring struggles have been so intense that without them and without those friends, I mean, Charming Garlands would have crashed and burned multiple times. So really, like, it's everything to me that people are willing to do that. And then not only flying in people, I mean, thank God for Tiffany and Meg and Elevated Impressions team. And there's so many people, but there's local people too that I can lean on that I genuinely trust, right? So I trust that they'll put on a Charming Garland shirt and be proud to be a part of the team and know that when they're on the job with me, even though they have a business, you know, 30 minutes away, like Tiki, Victoria from Balloon Teak, I got to shout her out because she's like so close, but is so proud and helpful and honest and trustworthy. Like she'll come on any job and put on a Charming Garland shirt and represent. She knows that when she's with me, like she's an extension of the Charmers and she has no problem with that. And I would help her in a second if she ever needed me to. So thank goodness again for my friends far and near and far that have helped get me through this time, because without them, none of this would happen.
Yeah. Well, you have really huge jobs and you have good clients. I'm curious, like, how did you get those? Obviously, you're not going to like give us the roadmap to steal, but like, is it your website? Is it you're out there pounding the pavement networking? Like, how are you scoring some of these awesome connections?
Yeah, there isn't one like straight answer that I can give. I think it's a combination of some of the things that you just mentioned. But what I always come back to is relationships. They're everything. And I am really good at building them and maintaining them. And, you know, I think my experience before I even entered this balloon world by professional experience and all the jobs I've had before have somehow magically like filtered in to the success that I'm seeing now. All of my past employers are clients. All of the people that I used to know from whatever job in my past life has led me to my big clients, like the
Yeah.
Wawas and the Eagles. And it's because I've been able to nurture those relationships over time. And I'm not just talking over the last 2 years, I'm talking over the last decade.
Yeah.
And you never know when that relationship is going to come back and support you.
Yeah, it's
And
funny you
so
said that. I had that just the other day. Some guy who was friends with my friend's boyfriend. I don't even know. Like this guy who was kind of in our friend group probably 10 years ago referred me to a job. Because like when you ask, like, who knows someone who does balloons, most people have one person or no people to recommend. So he was like, oh yeah, I thought of you. And then I saw him at this event. It was like, who would have ever thought that like weird bonfires drinking beer 10 years ago would have led to this connection in the professional world that he now works
100%.
with like a union, and they were having like a Founders Day thing for all these union employees. I was like,
Yeah,
this is like the type of corporate stuff I love. So keep 'em
for
coming.
sure. Yeah. I mean, I had a very similar situation so many times. The one that jumped to my mind as you were telling your story is a girl I went to high school with. I haven't seen her since the day we graduated. But, we were friendly and we were acquaintances. And she has gone on to now work for NFL Films. And who knew NFL Films is based in Jersey, like only a half hour from her headquarters. And like to see that email come in from someone that I haven't graduated a long time ago, it was just like really cool,
Yeah.
like I think if you're just a good person and you're good to people and you put the effort into being a good person and maintaining those relationships professionally, then I really do think like you'll see them come back around eventually. It might not be right away, but that's okay.
Do you do like, I know you're swamped because I see you on Instagram and like you're at the installs. You're not for the most part like hands off. I'm sure you'd like to be a bit more hands off, but given your situation, like you're on site. So do you do in-person networking? Like, are you going to any events? Are you in your chamber? I'm not sure how that works in such a big city.
No.
Or if it's not worth it.
No, I don't so much, not because I don't want to and not because I don't think there's value in that. I absolutely do. I simply don't have the time. I am currently on every install, big and small, all the little baby showers and all the big corporate events. I am there. So, when I do have some sort of networking event does fall on a day or night where I'm able to squeeze in a couple hours away, like, heck yeah, I'm going to get there, because that time and that FaceTime with people and representing your brand at those events is important. But I don't get, it's on my list of like things I want to do when I'm fully staffed. Like there are networking groups that I want to become a member of and so on. But I just don't, there are not enough hours in a day right now. So
yeah, absolutely.
Is it on my list like someday to do that more?
Well, and I was mostly just asking because I'm in such a small town. Like my town is 7,000 people and the big city is like an hour away. So like, it's just not feasible for me to join networking groups an hour from me. Like I'm just not going to make it to anything. So it's very different being in small town versus big city. Sometimes I feel like I have the advantage. Like you walk into the room and you know most of the people, but certainly it's not where the corporate is. So I'm just curious, how people network and what groups they're a part of.
I think also like the website is huge, having that Google presence. I don't pay for SEO anymore, but I actively work on my Google business profile and getting those reviews. Every single review on my profile is 5-star and they're honest reviews, like from actual clients. So, I'm very proud of that. And we have systems in place to get those and capture those reviews. And I think they're worth everything. When a corporate client Googles, balloons in my area, they're going to notice the first couple that pop up. But if those profiles are not strong and they're not backed by honest client reviews, I mean, I think that really helps us.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. There are a few by me that, they pop up. It's like a new balloon company every day, it feels like. And they pop up and they have no pictures and no reviews. And it, like, I'm like, oh, you're not even like real. Like that's how I filter things too. I'm like, what are you? Like I was looking for a contractor the other day to work on our house. And with no website, no reviews, no pictures, I'm like, you're not real. Like, I'm not going to call you. So I do think that that's a good tip. Having that Google profile really kind of bolstered really helps.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to touch on is your teaching. career.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
it is definitely like a side for fun thing that you're doing, but you taught at the Tough Techs experience and you will be
Mhm.
teaching at Float. So if people want to learn from
Yeah.
you, they can learn in person. Where do you see that going? I'm just nosy and curious, but is that something
Yeah.
you enjoy doing? Is that something that you're just like, I don't really have the time for? Or like, where does teaching kind of fit on your list of priorities?
So, oh my gosh, the Tough Tech experience was incredible. I am like beyond honored, first of all, that I was even asked to be a part of that. Can't thank Allison and Meg and her whole team for allowing me to, like, that is an experience I'll remember forever. So I love and Float. I mean, my gosh, I've gone to it before, and like to think that I'm going to be amongst those instructors alongside, one of my best friends is crazy and hard to believe, to be honest, but I'm here for it. And I'm very excited to share, our knowledge with whoever wants to sign up for our class. Hopefully there'll be people
Oh,
there.
I'm sure there'll be people there. I'm sure there'll be people.
But do I enjoy those teaching opportunities? 1000%. Like they fill my soul. Are they a part of my business plan? No. And so my purpose, like when I log on to Instagram, like is my purpose to market my online classes and my in-person master class? No, like I'm not on there to market to the balloon industry. No offense to you guys listening. Like I love the community and I love the support and inspiring people, but that's not why I'm in business. That
No, I
doesn't
think that's
pay
a
my
really good
bills right
point.
now. And some people, like it pays all their bills, like they're
Right.
super successful in teaching and that's what they want to do. And I think that's amazing. But for me, like what pays my bills are my big clients in my area. So that is really my focus. Am I thrilled with the opportunities when they're presented to me? Yes, I am. Someday, maybe like when I have this magical team that I envision having one day that can run this business and I can only go out on the jobs that really fill my creative cup. Like, yeah, maybe that's something that I want to pursue at that time. But seems pretty far off to me right now.
Are you looking to grow the number of businesses you're working with? From the small retail shop doing a grand opening in your downtown to the large Fortune 500 that has a fulfillment center or a warehouse or a large office building in your community. On the Balloon Suite blog, you can find the details on how to find and approach businesses of all types and of all ranges and size so that you can grow your sales and grow your revenue per order. Come on over to the Balloon Suite blog to learn more at balloonsuite.com.
Yeah. And I'm saying this not to give any shade to anyone who has like an Instagram education platform, anything. But when I'm following people or when I'm in a convention and I'm deciding who to take classes from, I always go to the people who have the business that I want to have. So like I want to learn how to manage staff. I want to learn how to deliver more efficiently or how to do large installs or how to offer balloon drops. So it's harder for me to, I guess, really buy into people who just have cute little tutorials online. Like that's great. And I love them and I love getting ideas, but I want to see the business side of it, if that makes sense. Like I want to see the back end of how you're actually running your business. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that.
I couldn't agree with you more, to be honest. And I think that's a great kind of like keep in the back of your mind tip when you are thinking about attending balloon conventions or classes, or you're thinking of signing up for something. I'm going to ask myself that now. I'm sure it was something I was already kind of like subconsciously thinking about, but like, yeah, I mean, I want to be in a class with someone whose business I want to be like, and the growth that I want to see in my own business is who I want to learn from.
Yeah. And I think the irony of that is like sometimes the people who have the best businesses, that doesn't necessarily translate to the most interesting Instagram profile, right? Like they're doing the same things day in, day out and just cranking out decor. That doesn't always lead to viral content. So like I sometimes follow like, I don't want to say boring, but just like regular balloon company. Like I like to see what they're doing on Tuesday, like I want to see the big stuff. I want to see the cute stuff, but mostly I want to see like, ooh, what's that little delivery card that you just put on that bouquet? Because that's the type of stuff I like. So that's
100%. I'm the same way. Like I'm very also like you, very business minded and very business driven. And I sacrifice way too much time with my loved ones to have this be about anything aside from money. Some people might agree, like might hate that I said that. that's just me being completely honest. Like, I don't give up time with my kids to like craft, like if it's not putting money in the bank, I'm not interested, to be honest. It doesn't take away from the fact that I love what I do and I love being creative and I love working with my clients and creating these magical memories. Yeah, I do. But do I want to do it for not? No, it has to put money in the bank to make my sacrifice worthwhile.
I agree. I just recorded an episode that like, I couldn't think of a better way to explain it other than like moving the goalpost. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, I want to grow this business and make money. But then all of a sudden something distracts me and it's like, oh, but like, no, I want to do like a really cool creative install. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, wait, no, I want teaching opportunities. And then it's like, oh, wait. And I keep changing what I want and then I'm not accomplishing any of it. So I just don't think you can have all of it. You can't be the most amazing distortion artist doing these crazy sculptures if you also want to be the most streamlined, profitable, hands-off business. Like those two things just don't go hand in hand. So I think it's fine to pick what you want. I am definitely on the profit money train as well. Like I want the money, I want the fun, and it's okay to like it and enjoy what you're doing. But it helps clarify things when you start getting distracted to be like, wait, what am I actually trying to do?
You know what's funny? Like you could look at, and you mentioned like you like to follow the like, no offense, like the boring classic pages, like, and I'm just reiterating what you said, but it's funny to me because, my Instagram page is, I think, I'm not tooting my own horn, but like it's anything but boring and it's very over the top and very colorful and very organic. But one of my business goals moving forward is to tap more into the classic. Like it's
Shut up.
Money makers. I swear to God. And I talk about it with, Blenda and Tabitha, like when I'm at these conventions and I get to hang out with people that have been doing this for way longer than me, I'm like, I want to do all that stuff. Like, is it going to be front and center on my Instagram page? No, probably not. But would I rather crank out 20 classic columns in an hour, like, and take all that money to the bank and go enjoy the rest of my afternoon with my kids? Yes, I would. Like, not every job has to be this giant organic installation, in my opinion.
So funny. I just had this conversation last night with Ashley from Pink Flamingo. And I said, one of my biggest jobs this year was like a $7,000 all green and white classic columns. Like, I don't think I even posted a picture because it was so unremarkable, but it was so easy. It was so clean. I love it. I love classic.
Yeah. But here's the flip side to that. Like for me, as much as I want to do those super profitable, easy classic, and I don't want to say easy because it's no different.
No, they are. I mean, classic is easy.
As much as I want to do that, I'm known, like Charming Garlands has become known for these like really large scale organic creations. And so people don't turn to me for that. It's not because I can't do it. I can do it. I have been to so many conventions that I have the knowledge, I have the skills, I have the training, but people don't ask me for it. So that's something I talk about when I do get to meet other decorators that are more classically driven. I'm like, what advice do you have to someone who's known for organics? Kind of the opposite, right? Like someone who's known for organics that really wants to do more of that day-to-day profitable stuff, because that's what's going to get you through Monday through Friday. I'm not just focused on the weekends. Like you said, what am I doing on a Tuesday? That's how I know I've made it. Like I've got a big job on a Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm going to take the weekend off. You know?
Absolutely.
So that's something that is also on my list. Like moving forward, like we need to start tapping into more of the day-to-day kind of classic general, offerings that hopefully we can convince people to look to us for somehow.
I'm curious if you're still offering small things. Like, are you still doing grab and goes or like bouquets? Can people pick up, or are you up to like a certain minimum now?
So we do still offer grab and goes, but there's been a natural shift, and we do still offer pick up helium balloons. There's been a natural shift in my business that I've noticed over the last couple of years where, again, like that's just not what people are turning to us for. And it's not that we don't offer them, but, maybe it's because it might have to do with marketing. People buy what you put out there. So if I'm constantly posting, bigger jobs, and that's what's going to come in, I think, or at least I'm lucky enough to have that be my experience. And those are the kind of jobs that I am passionate about and that I want to do more of. So that's what I continue to put out. So I'm not complaining. Like, am I happy when a grab and go comes in and I can make $200 without leaving my house and we can make that grab and go in 20 minutes? Like, yeah, I'm thrilled. Should I probably spend more time marketing things like that? Yeah. But again, like, this is another thing on my list. Like, when I'm fully staffed, like, this is something we're going to get back into. But right now, like, I'm very blessed to have these big jobs that are demanding all of our attention. So yeah, I mean, there's been a shift and people come to us for bigger things, and I couldn't be happier about that.
Yeah. Last question. You've said fully staffed a few times. What would that look like? Like, how many employees are you actually looking for?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, right now I have one full-time girl who's like my warehouse manager. It takes charge of everything production wise. And she is like, oh, a powerhouse. I don't know, like, but she doesn't do installs. Okay. So she only makes sure we're set up for success on the warehouse front. We have still 3 part-time girls, but they're very part-time. My issue with that is that when it comes to installing, I think in order to be the kind of installer that I need them to be and that my clients have come to expect them to be, there needs to be consistency. So I can't have someone, oh, I'm available 1 weekend or 2 weekends out of the month, like, and then they don't practice in between, and then there's no growth and they're not getting any better, and maybe the garlands aren't looking so charming, and so that's been one issue I have with some of the part-time help, or even hiring new part-time help. It's like, I really need someone who's going to be committed to getting where we need them to be. And then I have a virtual assistant who's great and helps put out fires on the email front so clients aren't mad at me. But fully staffed would look like I would want 2 other regular installers. To be the only one on the team that can lead an install is very taxing. And that means I have to be at every job. And that right now is kind of detracting from my joy and taking away from, the passion that I know I have inside. So I would like to get that back. And I think the only way I can feel that fire again is if I have other people who are capable of leading teams. Like, when we were fully staffed, we could send out 3 teams going in all different directions on the weekend, because that's the volume that we do.
Yeah.
So to not have that, I'm having, like, unfortunately, I have to cap, I can't take in everything because I have to watch really closely, because I can only be at so many places at one time. So fully staffed, I'd want at least 2 other lead installers, and probably like a full-time, like, admin, like someone to just help me continue to grow and build and network from the computer.
Yeah.
But that would be, I mean, my virtual assistant is located in North Carolina. So that role is something that I would envision. Like, I want someone in office involved in the day-to-day. And then, another part of being fully staffed is having another delivery vehicle. That was on my list and something we were actively shopping around for when my main box truck decided to die.
Yeah, it broke. Did you get a new one?
So we brought it back to life. Yeah. I mean, long story short, like, we bought a very used 17-foot box truck. It ended up dying. We knew, like, we had hoped to get maybe 3 to 5 years out of it. We ended up getting a year and a half. So we definitely didn't get out of it what we wanted. And then at that point, it needed a whole new engine. And we were like, oh, we'll just shop around for a new one. But the prices were insane.
Yeah.
So it ended up being more cost. It still costs $17,000, but it was more cost effective, surprisingly enough, to get a whole new engine. Basically, we saved the shell of our truck. Everything else about that truck is brand spanking new. So new engine, new parts, new tires, new everything.
Well, that's good. So how long will that last you? Did they give you an idea?
Oh, heck, that better last me
till you're dead.
Till I'm dead.
They're driving you in your casket to your grave in that box
Just
truck.
bury me in the truck. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, but again, like, it came with a hefty price tag, but the truck is like what I consider an employee. Like, it's like a part of our day to day. Without the truck, like, we were completely lost, and it was really, really hard.
Yeah,
so
I've said it before. I don't know how I did anything before, at least a van. Yeah. Like, I used to use my little SUV, and I don't know how I did it. So it's like you grow into what you have, and it becomes really important.
Yeah. And I think, so yeah, having another delivery vehicle is definitely on the list, but I need people to drive the delivery vehicle. So, like, the staff and the new delivery vehicle go hand in hand. And then I think, crazy enough, like, we're going to need more warehouse space sooner rather than later. probably within the next year. But my warehouse is positioned so that there is a front tenant and a rear tenant. We're in the rear. And we specifically took this space knowing that the front tenant was month to month and we get first right of refusal. So basically at this point, as soon as if I were to express interest in my landlord, like we're ready to move into the other space, he'd much rather take my, 3 to 5 year commitment than this month to month. So we're just not ready yet, but we know that we have that option when the time is right to move into that front space, because definitely we'll need more space soon.
Hey listeners, before we wrap up today's episode, let's talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Balloon Guild. Do you ever see amazing balloon decor online and wonder, how did they make that? The Balloon Guild is revolutionizing the industry by standardizing recipes, SOPs, and offering unparalleled training. Their mission? To elevate balloon artists worldwide, ensuring efficiency, profitability, and unparalleled professionalism. For business owners and their teams, the Balloon Guild isn't just a resource, it's a game changer for growth and development. For me, it's been the ultimate shortcut in finally getting things out of my head and onto paper, so I'm not making things up on the fly, and so my team can work together to create consistent, fast decor. Visit their platform today at theballoonguild.com or by using the link in the show notes. New recipes and resources are released every month. Well, what's next for you? So you have, ideally you want to get staffed. That is your big pressing need. But other than that,
so for anyone
happens,
listening, shameless plug, anyone listening to this podcast, if you'd like to relocate to Philadelphia, I have some amazing opportunities.
Well, I was literally going to say that.
Work for me.
There's a lot of balloon people in New Jersey and in your area. Like,
you don't want to start your own business. It's stressful.
I know, you just heard all the problems. Just go and do balloons with Allie.
There's so many problems. Just come and do balloons. Like, seriously, you don't have to worry about a thing. I'll worry about it all. I'm just saying that. Okay. Anyway,
I think that's great. And I know you're a little joking, but pretty serious. I think that's a really good thought. If someone wants to be in balloons, but the business side isn't their forte. Yeah. Can you imagine just getting paid to play with balloons and do all the installs, like without any of the, maybe I'm going to come.
Sign me up.
Move out there. I'm saying it out loud. I'm like, this sounds like a pretty sweet deal. But are you hoping to grow? Next? If you get all of the employees, like, would you like to amp up, or are you at a comfortable spot, or like?
Nope. I still feel we're going into year 4 and I feel like we've only scratched the surface. I have so many ideas in my mind, so many things that I'd like to see come to fruition, so many different things that I'd like to offer. We just simply don't have the bandwidth. So we have to break out of this stalemate that I feel like Charming Garlands has been in for, at least a year. We have to be fully staffed. And then I would like to see some serious growth. And I've got all the ways to do it. So I'm excited for what's to come and where this could go. I never thought in a million years, 4 years ago, that this is the success I would have been lucky enough to experience. But I shouldn't even use the word luck, because for anyone to grow a business to this scale comes with a lot of hard work and sacrifice. So it's not luck, it's grind, and it's blood, sweat, and tears making this priority number 1. And I'm not saying it's always healthy to do that, but that's what it takes. And I'm willing to continue to put in the work. I just would really like the supporting staff around me to experience the growth with me. I think sometimes it feels really lonely to be in this business as a female entrepreneur and not have someone to lean on day to day. Like, yes, I have all my balloon friends. Of course, I could call and cry to in a minute. But like being in here and just feeling all the pressure on me all the time is a lot. So if I'm able to get rid of some of that and solve some of the problems that we're having, I'd like to continue to grow, and I'd like to have a fleet of vans, and I'd like to maybe expand our service area a little bit more. And then I'd like to pass it off to someone else to run.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be sitting on a beach with a pina colada with an umbrella in it more often than I am now. So those, I think, are kind of like big goals. I'd really love to have, a manager, a CEO, and I just come in, when I want to.
You're the owner.
That's the dream. I'm the owner. So we'll see, listen, I don't really have any expectations. I never had expectations when I started. I just had big dreams. If we get there, great. If we don't, I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm going to look back at everything we've accomplished and say, damn, like we did the damn thing, like we crushed it. And as hard as it is, I'm super proud. So
well, you should be. What you've accomplished in 4 years is more than a lot of people accomplish in their entire balloon career. So congratulations. And thanks for being so honest too. I think like we both know that like what we see on Instagram is only part of the story. And I think, looking at your beautiful profile, you could have come on here and been like, everything's amazing. But I appreciate that you were like, no, there's struggles.
Anyone who follows me knows like I'll be the first one to hop on Instagram crying and be like, you want to start a business? This is what it looks like.
Yeah, no, it's hard. For sure. But congratulations.
That's the reality of it. Yeah.
Thank you for coming back on and chatting. And Premium Conwin is going to send you an inflator as a sponsor of this interview.
My fave.
Yeah. As a thank you for giving up your time to come back on.
We'll add it to our Premium Conwin collection.
I know. Well, I have a fleet of those. I don't have a fleet of Van, but I have a fleet of inflators.
Well, thank you so much for catching up, and for anyone listening who cares enough about what's next for me. Thank you for listening, and I hope everyone has a charming day.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.